Hello and welcome to Gardening with Ben, the award-winning gardening podcast as voted for by the Grow Your Own magazine and by my followers and by my listeners. I hope that you have all clicked that subscribe button. If you're new to the podcast channel, please do click the subscribe button and then you get notified of all the new podcasts that get launched. And if you're not following me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok, make sure you look for Gardening with Ben and follow me on all my social medias. So sit back, relax, grab a brew and let's enjoy today's gardening podcast with Ben. Hello and welcome back to Gardening with Ben and a brand new podcast. Well, we're halfway through the week now, we're certainly getting on and we're nearly halfway through September. And we'll soon be talking about October when autumn comes. But in today's episode, we're going to be thinking ahead for springtime. Yes, we're thinking for spring already. It's not even winter. We've not had Christmas, but we're going to start thinking about springtime. And as springtime comes, that's when the spring bulbs start to flower. And this is one of my favourite times of the year. And I've done quite a few podcasts on this. I do it every single year. But I do like to go over it and encourage people all over with it. And since I got into starting to grow flowers and attracting the bees to the plot through various other ways, because the bees are our pollinators, the bees create our produce, the bees help get more fruit and help get delicious fruit as well. If we didn't have the bees, we'd have to pollinate ourselves, which would take absolutely forever. So, why do we need to start thinking about springtime? At the moment, if you go around garden centres, shops, everywhere, you'll notice spring bulbs are on sale. And yes, I am addicted to spring bulbs at the moment. Well, I were last year, to be honest, and this year is even worse. And the reason why I encourage everybody to get spring bulbs on their allotments, especially if you've got an allotment and you haven't got spring bulbs in, it's certainly something that you do need to do. And even in your garden as well, make sure you get spring bulbs in your garden, but allotments especially. And the reason why we do need to plant spring bulbs in the allotment is because when the bees wake up, it's the first thing they see when they come out of hibernation, when they start to wake up around March, April time. And obviously they've been asleep all winter, they'll need the nectar to get themselves, get some energy and get going about their own business again. And obviously there's not many flowers around at that time of year, and the only flowers around are the spring bulbs. And obviously daffodils, tulips, they all have a lot of pollen in them. So this is why we do need to start looking at growing spring bulbs on allotments. And last year, well, for the last couple of years, I've actually grown spring bulbs. But last year I went overboard with them, and I'm continuing to do it. Last year I must have planted at least 500 daffodil bulbs in total, and that's just one side of my plot what I've done. I created new borders down the side of my plot and planted all daffodils down one side of the plot and got them all in, and it looked absolutely phenomenal in the springtime. And my plan is this year to do the other side of my plot, so then I'll have spring bulbs all the way around the edge of my allotment to make it look brighter, to make it look more attractive, and to get them bees buzzing around on the plot, which is my ultimate goal in my allotment, to be honest, because I want to have absolutely stunning colour on it. And if you've seen photos of the front of my plot this year, it looks phenomenal with the summer flowers that I've got growing in there. And it's going to hurt me when all of them die and I've got to dig them all out, because a lot of them are annuals, but I am getting more and more perennials as I find bargains in the supermarket. But I've just been shoving them in at the front of my in my main bed at the front of the plot this year. So when it comes to possibly October time, I'm going to be getting it all out, all the plants out of the front of my plot, and giving it a brand new spruce up and a brand new look. To be honest, it needs a good overhaul, and yes, it did look absolutely fantastic this year, but each year I try and do my best and give it a bit of improvement year on year, and eventually hopefully I can sit back and enjoy it, but I doubt that'll ever happen. I'm always looking at new ways of improving my plot, and I'm going to put quite a bit of effort into doing the front of my plot up, because quite a lot of people on the site have said how wonderful and how lovely it looks and what a good job I've done of it. And that's my plan, to continue to make the entrance on my plot look fantastic and attractive, and hopefully the bees will keep coming to my plot. The more that I plant flowers and stuff on my plot, the more they will do what they need to do. And this year's fruit harvest has been absolutely phenomenal on my plot. Whether it's because I've planted so many flowers, who knows? But I have had fantastic fruit this year, and I'm going to keep on doing it and getting more and more bulbs in year after year until my plot is absolutely full to busting with spring bulbs, and it will be a picture perfect show. But we shall wait and see how we get on with that. So what sort of bulbs am I going to be doing this year? Well, today I've just been out and bought 8 packs of 40 daffodil bulbs from my Tesco, because there they've got them for 2 bags for £5 club card points, so that's 80 for £5, which is good, which is really good. So I've bought absolutely loads today, and I'm still going to be buying some more next time, but I just bought these to make sure that I had some before they all sold out, just in case. And I'm going to be obviously stripping out all the front of my plot. And last week I went to a wholesaler's and I bought absolutely loads of tulips. Last year I bought hundreds of daffodils. This year I'm buying loads of tulips, because I did have some in the front of my plot, but they seem to have gone astray. Whether the squirrels pinched them, whether mice and rats have pinched them, I don't know. But I've bought lots and lots this year, and we're going to do it I'm going to do it properly this time. When I plant the spring bulbs, I'm going to make sure they're in high order, so that I've got like small ones at the front, like crocuses, hyacinths, then possibly daffodils, and then possibly tulips. And yeah, it's going to look absolutely fantastic, and I just want to have it a beautiful spring display and just make it look absolutely phenomenal. So I've got all them, I've got all my tulips, but then I need to go out and get my crocuses. I need to go out and get some more hyacinth bulbs, but hyacinths are expensive. But hopefully we can find some and get some for the plot, because I want lots of hyacinths on the plot, because they absolutely smell fantastic. So I want to get some beautiful hyacinths on the plot, and I want multicoloured ones. I don't want them all the same colour. I want to add as much colour to my plot as possible, because there's not much colour around in springtime. A lot of things have died off, it's all barren, it looks awful. But yeah, I want to add lots of spring colour, so we're going to be doing up that front area. And obviously, like I said, I planted all daffodil bulbs down one side of my plot, so I've got the other side to do. So I'm possibly looking at maybe planting 1,000 daffodil bulbs this year, which is going to be a lot. It's going to be an awful lot, but while you keep streaming these episodes, it will fund buying them. Obviously, it all goes back into my allotment and doing improvements to talk about it as well, because the more stuff that I buy, the more stuff I can talk about on my podcast as well. So do keep streaming them. Even if you keep streaming them through the night and turn your volume down, you are doing me a world of good. So please do keep streaming. And the best thing about planting spring bulbs in the allotment is that they don't get in the way. You can plant them deep down and they won't matter with any of your gardening. So if you're planting them in borders and stuff like that, you can still plant flowers, etc. on top of them, and they will do really, really well. And the best thing as well about the spring bulbs is that they'll come back year after year after year, and they'll come back with great success every year. As long as the squirrels don't pinch the bulbs, you are onto a winner, and everybody will compliment you on them as well. So what I'm thinking of doing this year to make sure that the squirrels don't get them is I'm going to plant them all, and then I'm going to build like a chicken wire cover over the top of them to stop any pests from getting them out until they actually start growing and popping through quite well, because I don't want to have spent all this money on bulbs for the squirrels to pinch them all for their little collection. Because I did notice last year one of my tulips, it must have been one of mine, popped up on somebody else's allotment across from me. Because it was the same variety of tulip as one of my other tulips what grew on my plot. So yeah, watch out for the pesky squirrels pinching the tulip bulbs, because they do, and obviously you can lose money. So if you're planting them in pots even, put some chicken wire over it. That will stop the squirrels from pinching them. So yeah, I want to encourage you all to start planting bulbs on the allotment. Whether you've got a child or whether you do it yourself, get everybody involved in planting spring bulbs on the allotments and in gardens. Let me know if you're going to join me and plant some spring bulbs on yours. And yeah, keep me updated. If you're going to be planting daffodils, they can be planted in September, October time. If you're planting tulips, stick to planting them in November time, because tulips can get diseased. So it says online, but I don't know, because mine are in the ground all the year and they keep coming back year after year. So read up on tulips, what you like, but I will be planting mine probably early in November time. So I hope that you all join in. Let me know, send me a message via Instagram. I'd like to know if you're going to be planting spring bulbs on your plot and getting involved. So yeah, thanks for listening, and as always, remember, keep smiling, keep gardening, and keep listening to Gardening with Ben's podcasts. Thank you for listening to today's Gardening with Ben's podcast. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do click that subscribe button, and feel free to share it as well on your Instagram stories. All you have to do if you're listening on Spotify is click the share button, and you can share it straight to your Instagram story for all your followers to listen to, and help build my listeners up as well and get more people listening to it. Feel free to check out all my social medias: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok. Yes, I'm on TikTok. Go check it out. Check out my dancing. Gardening with Ben. And check out the link as well in the description of this podcast, where you can check out my gardening t-shirt shop, where I sell funny t-shirts with all different funny logos and designs on. And feel free to support me by purchasing one, and all the money obviously goes back into my allotment, where I can share more gardening tips with you all. So until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep gardening, and keep listening to Gardening with Ben's podcasts.